In the final 9 games of the year, the Carolina Panthers went 7-2 against the spread, including 4 outright wins. Reminder, we were so bullish on the Panthers. We talked about the Panthers so much in the preseason, and then they went out and totally shit the bed and made us look terrible for the first 8 weeks of the season. What happened? How did they turn it around? Bryce Young had been injured, comes back, really kind of has nothing to lose at this point because in his first 20 or so games, he's been one of the worst first round quarterbacks, top overall quarterbacks who's ever been drafted. He went from being so bad, amongst the worst in the NFL, to middle of the pack. That, like any movement in his improvement, made him look like a viable starter. But to me, the key, and we talked a lot about this last year, you could see it on the field, his decision making. Like he started scrambling to extend plays. He's already incredibly accurate. His scramble rate jumped from 25% to 40%, 47%. And this wasn't because his offensive line is terrible. It's actually top 10, top 15 offensive line. It was him moving around in the pocket to make plays and then using his accuracy on the run. He'd keep his eyes downfield. He wasn't looking at rushers. And he was making plays that helped them stay in the game. Third down completions, fourth down completions. He just got better. Can we see that? Can we see that from Bryce Young this year?
Yeah, and it's like you just broke it down. It was incredible. He was playing himself out of the league. It was over, right? And what did Andy Dalton do? Did he cut his hand, or was he in a car accident? Something happened with Andy Dalton where
Yeah,
he got
something like
hurt.
something fluky. It wasn't
Yes,
like
and that's why
it,
he got his job
right.
back.
It wasn't like Andy Dalton was ever going to relinquish this job.
No,
Bryce Young was done.
it was over. And we talk all the time how football it's so heavily mental. That's why all these guys got sports therapists, right? They're constantly working on their brain and their mind, and it's really become a forefront in the last 10 years of how important the mental aspect of the football game is. And the best example is Bryce Young. Like he was miserable. Like apparently it was just dead inside. I mean, you would be too. His first game, I believe, he threw like 2 picks. It was a train wreck to start the season. It just kept getting worse and worse every week. And we got caught, like Chad just talked about. Like this is a classic case of believing too much into a model and not what you're seeing in front of you. And I kept saying, but my model's telling me this is a bad number and this team is way better than they're performing. Did not make sense. And then sure enough, once he came back, like you said, they went 7-2. That's when it made sense where it's like, oh, this is what my model is seeing. When he puts it together and plays within the offense, he's good. Like when he's accurate, they did have pieces there around him. And now they've gone out and drafted a wide receiver, which to me was the biggest deal because, as much as we love Bryce Young, his number one receiver was Adam Thielen. Like Thielen, he was supposed to be, these are his sunset years. He's down there getting ready for retirement. He's not supposed to be the number one receiver of the Panthers. And he was his most trusted receiver. Bryce Young, anytime on a big third down, that's who he trusted because he knew he would run the right route, and he would, even if the window was crazy small, he would give him a window. He would always have that window. The fact that they went out and got a receiver with a top 10 pick, it's a huge deal. And, the offense, to me, it's not my question when I'm betting this team. I have this team at 8 wins. So 6.5, Chad knows I like that number a lot. Divisional odds, wish it was plus 450 like it was earlier. It's down to plus 400, 390 at some books. Still love it. Still think it's good value, but it's tough that it's been bet down because the pros have the same view as us. It's like if he did take that next step, and they've spent money on some of these pieces of offensive line and defense, this should be a good team. But that's what the unknown is here, is this defense. Like they were so criminally bad last year, this defense, that even the games they were in, they got totally thrown out because it's like you're asking Bryce Young to have to put up 35, 30, 38 points in a game. It's just like they don't have the offensive weapons to do that. So that to me is our big fear here, Chaz. We're betting a team that they might have even worse defense than the Saints, which we're going to get into the Saints about being a train wreck. But that's a true statement. The Panthers might have the worst defense in this division. So that to me is what I'm really looking forward to in camp, seeing what I'm going to see from the defense. The it's not so much a preseason games now. I've learned my lesson that it really is about the team practices. When they practice with other teams, that film has been really valuable. When they have practice against other teams, and you see what type of defensive sets they're trying to run. So it's definitely a team Panthers. I'm going to dive more into their defense during this preseason. But right now, as we stand here, I'm just so infatuated with their offense. I just trust it so much that I have to take the divisional odds.